State won the toss. Deferred. Jordan Travis and Florida State will have it first. Inside a sold-out Carter Finley Stadium. Colin Smith will boot it away, and Trey Benson is back deep. 2 weeks ago, took the opening kickoff back for the Noles in Tallahassee. Away we go. And Jordan Travis and the Seminoles will have it at the 25. Fifth-year senior playing some of the best football of his entire career.
Yeah, he's playing the best quarterback of his career. And the reason that is he's passing the ball much better from inside the pocket. And, you know, whether it's been injury or by design, they've used him less in the quarterback run game. And, you know, it has not slowed down their offense one bit. Plenty of talent around him as well.
We talked to the NC State coaching staff. They want to send a lot of pressure at Jordan Travis and flush him to one side. He's got a lot of talented skill guys beside him. Trayshawn Ward, the running back, to start. Play clock at 5. It's Ward on first down. Gets a few yards. Davin Van on the stop. You like a lot of the skill guys that the Seminoles have.
Listen, they have backs that they can rotate in, receivers, you know, more than 5 of them, you know, that can make plays, and they have the right guy making decisions in number 13, Jordan Travis.
Ward left side tripped up. Brings up third down for Florida State.
And it almost looked like there was some confusion of whether or not Jordan Travis was going to give the ball to Ward or keep it. You know, they're lucky that, you know, in the handoff that ball didn't end up on the ground. And now on third down, backed up near the student section. I would expect it to be pretty loud for this Seminole offense.
You see, Florida State has been great on third downs this season so far in the first 5 games. Trips to the right for Travis. Pressure off the right, and they run it, and they've got the first down. 6-yard gain on third down, and all runs so far for the Noles.
And when you look at, you know, what Florida State has done, they've gotten up to the line of scrimmage and watched pressure coming off of Jordan Travis's right side. They hand the ball running left. It was clearly blocked, and easy pickup on 3rd and 5 running the football.
Play action, batted down. Drake Thomas on the deflection, the senior linebacker and the leading tackler for the Wolfpack.
One of the challenges with running an RPO, you see 87, McDonald, he's going to try to block Thomas, but because it's an RPO, he's not pass blocking him, and he doesn't get his hands down right in the throwing lane as Jordan Travis is trying to hit Pokey Wilson on the slant. Nice job of reading the quarterback's eyes by Thomas.
Such a veteran defense for NC State. They brought back 10 starters on that side. Pressure off the left. Quick throw for Trey Benson, the speedy running back, and he is hit hard by Isaiah Moore. Third down.
And you can see the speed of the linebacking crew that they have here at North Carolina State. Isaiah Moore, off an ACL injury a year ago, does not look like he is a step slower, chasing Ward down and making that play in the open field. And now you have a more known passing situation, Mike. You know, 3rd and more than 5, known passing situations. I would expect this one to not stay on the ground like the last 3rd down.
Travis on the rollout. Plants, eludes, and Travis extends with his legs. He's got the first down and more into plus territory. A gain of 23.
Just a sprint left smash concept. They're trying to get the hitch to the corner. He doesn't like it. And this is just a guy who's good with the football in his hands. Jordan Travis just making absolutely something out of nothing. It's an incredible play, and that's really what North Carolina State wants to eliminate. It's not the design runs, it's the off-schedule runs that he's been so good at doing throughout his entire career.
Matches his longest run of the season. And Florida State with the ball to start on the road. Play clock winding down on Travis. This is a design run. He picks up a couple. And so you think about Jordan Travis in his career, running has always been a big part of it.
Yeah, and it was the design runs. And I think he was such a good runner as a high school player. And then when he gets to college, he was told, hey, if you don't like it, go run. And I think he was coached in such a way that maybe even made him start to doubt, what type of runner he is. And you see him now, last couple of weeks, he was playing with a knee brace, from the injury he sustained in the Louisville game. Obviously much better from that now. Looked like it on that last third down. So the running may increase even if it is on off-schedule plays.
8th play of the drive is blown up in the backfield. Isaiah Moore again, the 6th-year senior. This guy's a 5th-year starter, and he is charged up tonight.
Yeah, and here's Isaiah Moore. Watch him walk up. He times this perfectly. Anticipates the snap count, walks up, and so with guards pulling, he's able to find a crease and make a play in the backfield.
Had a big game last week in the loss on the road at Clemson. 3rd down and 12 now for Florida State. Lawrence Toafili in motion, pre-snap movement, a free play for the Noles. That is complete to Kentrod Portier. We'll check the marker.
Offside. Defense, number 50. That's a 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Both these teams coming off last week, they were ruing and lamenting the missed opportunities and in a lot of cases the penalties.
Yeah, and I think that with both these teams having so many experienced players, the idea for, a 3rd and long to jump off sides, by one of your defensive ends, a veteran player, you just can't have it.
Season high 10 penalties last week for NC State. And now movement off that right side again.
False start. Offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Jazz turn time, the right tackle.
And these are the things, it's kind of, you give them one, take one. I think that both teams kind of under the pressure, I think the magnitude of this game, there is an element of the nerves of this game. Just settling down, just kind of doing the things that you were doing earlier in the season.
So it's back to 3rd and 12. NC State brings just 3. Travis with time to throw, sails it in the direction of Johnny Wilson, and it brings up 4th down. It's not a trustworthy kicking game for Mike Norvell, and just outside the 40, they'll bring out the punt team.
Well, that's a great point, Mike, in terms of the kicking game, because they kind of went for it all there. And I do think in some of these gray areas, because of the kicking game, we're probably going to see Florida State tonight kind of decide, around midfield, like maybe we are in 2-down territory, depending on the down and distance that we can get to for 4th down.
Alex Mastromato's kick goes into the end zone, just past the coverage team of Florida State. The defense steps up for NC State and gets a stop. The Wolfpack has it for the first time after this. NC State territory, and now Devin Leary comes out and the first look at this Wolfpack offense.
Yeah, and Devin Leary, we said it in the open, he's a really good player. He's a really good quarterback. It's probably been a little bit less exciting in the passing game, and that's been a bit of a struggle.
Gives it to Jordan Houston for 5 yards on 1st down. We asked Tim Beck, the offensive coordinator, how's Devin Leary been playing this season, in your estimation? Took some time to think about it, and he settled on he's not playing bad.
Yeah, and I think that I think the challenge is, you think about what they lost. They lost 2 really good running backs, lost a left tackle, and the production at receiver outside of Thayer Thomas has not been great.
Looks to throw and under pressure and dropped by Malcolm Ray.
And, you know, you just think about, you know, talking about getting an offense on schedule, getting a passing game on schedule, staying on schedule, having, you know, third and reasonable. And Ray comes from right here. It's really McDonald and Ray. Here's Ray, and then McDonald and Ray kind of both get there, squeeze to him.
And now flag with movement off the right side. Tim McKay matched up with Derek McClendon.
Offside, defense number 9, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
You know, I think that the passing game for NC State, whether it's been receivers not winning or the quarterback trying to be perfect, because he was nearly perfect a year ago, I think that has kind of been something that they're trying to work through, and I think at times they feel like they've gotten past it.
On 3rd down and 7, Leary rifles incomplete down the middle in the direction of Thayer Thomas. Brings up 4th down.
Yeah, and listen, that's not going to instill any confidence in terms of it being different. Thayer Thomas is running a clear route, and you have an in-cut coming from Keon Lassane, and, you know, really wasn't close, and it was probably a good thing for Devin Leary that it wasn't close, because there was a defender underneath Lassane who maybe would have had a chance to pick it off.
Please reset the play clock, 25. Thank you.
You're welcome. Shane McDonough to punt, the Towson transfer who has stepped in for Trenton Gill, and now we get a flag off the left side.
False start. Offense number 15. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Mike, I did say the lights out could affect the routine maybe. You think? I don't know if we can blame that, but I do think both of these groups need to settle in a little bit on the pre-snap penalties.
Told you it was an issue for both teams last week in each of the teams' 10-point losses against some ACC heavyweights. McDonough gets it away. Micah Pittman has really sparked the return game, but a fair catch just outside the 35 on a punt last week against Clemson. Probably the biggest game in his 10 years here at the helm, and he was still thinking about some plays left on the field by NC State.
Yeah, I think Dave Dorn, you know, thought it was close. You know, had a chance for, you know, a tipped interception there to pick up, give up a huge play right before the half that ends up resulting in a touchdown, which certainly changed momentum, and then a dropped interception that he felt that Aiden White would have been able to run back for, you know, some opportunity, if not score. And, you know, I think he's right, and I think it's probably one of the things that was frustrating to this team is that, you know, in a game that was pretty closely contested, you can probably count on, you know, one hand plays that you feel like if you would have made, the outcome could have been different.
Midway through this first quarter here in Raleigh, and Trey Benson gets tripped up by Peyton Wilson, another one of those star linebackers for the NC State defense.
Yeah, and finally healthy. You see the shoulder harness. He's kind of dealt with a couple of shoulder injuries throughout his career, as well as a major knee injury. He's a super talented player. You know, a guy that early in his career, I think a lot of people thought we're going to see playing on Sundays. And, you know, that group of linebackers with Thomas, Isaiah Moore, and Peyton Wilson, they're a tremendous group, and it's good to see Wilson healthy again.
This 3-3-5 defense for NC State and coordinator Tony Gibson. Benson again with nowhere to go. A loss of 2. Isaiah Moore stacked him up.
Yeah, and you mentioned Tony Gibson's defense. They'll give you a lot of different looks, Mike. You know, it's a 3-down front, but sometimes they want to insert just one linebacker into the front. That time, they inserted all 3 linebackers into the front. There's nowhere to go for the run game now. Creates a 3rd and long. And I would expect some type of exotic pressure, something to fool Jordan Travis, make him think after the snap, something they wanted to get him to do.
Just one completion so far for Travis against a shorthanded NC State secondary. Pressure on 3rd down, and down goes Travis. Davin Van and Peyton Wilson got home for the sack.
It's a really good pass rush by Davin Van. A great job of using his hands. Here's Van here, and just watch the swipe he's going to get on Turrentine's hand as he tries to punch. That swipe right there allows him to turn the corner. And Davin Van, not a guy that, you know, people necessarily are talking about a lot. But I tell you right now, he makes a lot of plays, finds a way to be around the football, plays with a great motor. That's a big sack.
We talked to his teammate Cyrus Fagan this week. He told us Davin Vann is a menace on the field, and he's playing well indeed. Some wiggle from Thayer Thomas will set up NC State at the 41-yard line. The defense stout. That was the expectation for NC State coming in, and so far, despite a 9-play drive to start from Florida State, they have not broken.
Yeah, and I'm sure that what they're talking about is, look, we had him 3rd and long, and we let the quarterback escape. And one of the things that they want to do with Jordan Travis is they're going to pressure him, but they're going to try to force him a certain direction, make him escape into a wrapping linebacker. And they didn't have to do it there because Davin Vann was able to just beat the man in front of him.
Jared Verse is into the game. Kelsey told you all about him. Demi Sumo Karnbe with a good run on 1st down. Tatum Bethune, the middle linebacker, with the stop after a gain of 8.
Timeout. A defensive injury.
That is Robert Cooper at a position, defensive tackle, where Florida State already this year has dealt with a lot of injuries. We'll check on Cooper on the other side.
Experience, 335 pounds, takes up a lot of space, and just is kind of fighting off a double team. And I'm not sure what it was, but it was good to see him get up and be able to walk off the field under his own power.
After the gain of 8 from Demi Sumo Karnbe, gets it again and picks up the 1st down, running right in that direction where they're without also Fabian Lovett for a 4th straight game. He got injured at the end of that LSU game in the final minute of regulation.
And Mike, that is a great point because Lovett's out. We just saw Cooper exit. Malcolm Ray's been fighting some injuries. And so you end up getting real young inside. And for NC State, they want to be more patient with the run game and run it. Being banged up inside with some of those big bodies might work in NC State's favor.
Ray and Jarrett Jackson, the interior defensive lineman, as Leary is complete to Devin Carter. Veteran wideout tumbles to the 25, a gain of 23, and he is a very big key to the NC State offense.
Yeah, it's a good job of Carter just working for his quarterback. He turns inside, sees Leary in trouble, and then immediately starts working in phase with him. Escaping to his right, he's going to work with him. And Devin Carter, he's one of those guys, got a lot of talent. Size, speed, can make contested catches. They're definitely looking for more out of him. And, in terms of plays outside the numbers, he's the first place, that they're going to go.
And now it's Kevin Knowles slow to get up, the starting nickelback. The sophomore has been very consistent this season. His coordinator, Adam Fuller, was telling us.
He's had a nice year, had the game-clinching interception against Louisville earlier this year. And, I think on their back end, they feel pretty good about how guys have played and communicated in their secondary.
That Louisville game, Mike Norvell said to us, I had not seen a game where that many key guys got injured for them. They were dealing with a lot on that Friday night. They've had a couple of dramatic wins, including that one this season, before the loss at home to Wake Forest. Leary motions out. It's a direct snap to Demi Sumo Karnbe, defended well by Florida State with Leonard Warner.
And I think that as NC State has tried to get more production in the run game, even in today's game of college football where we see so many quarterbacks running it, really not Devin Leary's game. It's not what he does well. And so to find opportunities for the quarterback run game, clearly Tim Beck is looking for his backs to do that.
And he told us they just haven't had game breakers offensively, so they are trying to get as creative as possible. Keep it on the ground on 2nd down with the sophomore Sumo Karnbe, who's been banged up as well. Coaching staff told us he's not at 100%.
And I think in terms of their run game, they're such a heavy RPO team. So, look, you call 25 RPOs, you may end up throwing it 15 times. And even though it's a called run, that's what happens. But, ultimately, they trust their quarterback, which is why one of the reasons here, 3rd and 6 in the red zone, I would expect them to be looking for Thayer Thomas, something to get him free. He's Devin Leary's, he's most confident in him at receiver.
5 in red, bottom of your screen, running a drag route. Leary looking to throw, takes a shot toward the end zone, and incomplete, and it brings up 4th down.
And here's the thing, that's a good decision. Devin Leary, they're in field goal range. You don't want to take a sack. You don't want the ball to end up coming out.
Injured player, defense.
And for Florida State, it's a good decision by Leary throwing it away. And for Florida State, that is not good news. That's Jared Verse, the superstar defensive end who injured his knee earlier this year. You see the brace on his left knee. That's him down right now.
He's the 3rd Florida State player defensively to go down on this drive.
Here's Jared Verse here. That's Verse to the right of the screen, just working his pass rush. He just kind of stumbles in his rush and then gets cleaned up by the back. Kind of landed awkwardly, and I think in terms of signs for Florida State, the fact that he is jogging off the field. I thought it was interesting talking to Mike Norvell about Verse. Last week, he really was a game time decision. Didn't know if he would play, how many snaps he would play. And Mike Norvell said, look, I'm going to talk to the player and trust the player, but I'm also going to protect him from himself. Played limited snaps a week ago, and I think they felt like he was going to be ready to play a full game tonight.
So it sets up a 38-yard try for Chris Dunn. The 5th-year senior has been ultra reliable throughout his career, and he remains perfect on the season, and NC State on the board first. Well, we've seen the NC State defense so far. We talked about the linebacking core. Such a veteran group, and you need them even more because injuries in the secondary, so the linebackers already making an impact.
Yeah, and they are the heartbeat of this defense. You see Thomas with the deflection. You just see the way they kind of just wreaked havoc in the run game. And Peyton Wilson barely in position to make the play, able to get the back down. And you just look at the experience, and really that comes in the way of Drake Thomas and Isaiah Moore. Peyton Wilson has been so banged up throughout his career. And I think what's interesting, Mike, is, oftentimes you hear coaches talk about, hey, there's an injury, next man up, somebody's got to step up. But, with Wilson's injury history, Isaiah Moore injured last year, it was a great opportunity for Drake Thomas to step up, become a leader, play more. And I think now because of that, he's a better player this year now that the other 2 guys are back.
Micah Pittman, a chance to return it. And he gets swung down shy of the 20. Great coverage from the Wolfpack on special teams. Let's go down to Kelsey.
Well, I got to talk with Isaiah this week about what it's like to have all these guys back, and he said it is such a big deal. It feels like poetry in motion, all of them being back. Like we never left, nothing's forced, they just follow each other so easily. Isaiah, as you mentioned, is a 3rd-year captain, Mike, and such a big deal. He said each year he tries to evaluate what does this team need. He said this year what they need is accountability. He said they crave it, understanding every week they have to go out there and earn the results. So valuable to have guys like him and Peyton out there, as well as Drake, all he's contributed.
Yeah, they've been big this season and so far tonight. Jordan Travis and Florida State on 1st down. He slides near the line of scrimmage. We've talked injuries so far for the Seminoles. They do have back their left tackle, Robert Scott, so far in this game. He had missed the last couple of games, got rolled up on at Louisville, a guy who's been a starter each of the last 3 years.
Yeah, been a starter, and Mike Norvell told us there's no doubt he is one of our best players. Like, make no mistake about it. And, playing next to Dylan Gibbons at left guard, they're pretty good on that left side. And truthfully, they've improved. If you just look at the last 3 years, the improvement on the offensive line has been significant.
Travis rolling left in the direction of Pittman. And Micah Pittman makes the catch. Acrobatic bid for a guy who had a career game his last time out.
Well, it's a great adjustment. Now, look at the way the linebackers will play downhill to get in the way of Travis. That's a hard throw, which is why it's inaccurate. And then Pittman with a great reaction to the football.
And Florida State went quickly and tried to find Johnny Wilson. Pressure from Tanner Ingle.
You know, Johnny Wilson is such a matchup problem for people, and you know, we talked to Tony Gibson, we said, hey, you know, like, what's the plan? You're going to match somebody up on him? And it's like, no, our plan to cover 14 is to put pressure on 13, which is exactly what happened there. Don't give the quarterback time. That's how you disrupt the connection to Johnny Wilson,
who Mike Norvell told us was the 7th wonder of the world after what he did with his big performance at Louisville. On second down, Travis gets rid of it quickly for Pokey Wilson, who makes the catch. What a grab by Pokey Wilson with Aiden White draped all over him.
Well, Aiden White, who's been the best corner for NC State, is running with Pokey Wilson, and Wilson does an amazing job. You see, Aiden White is trying to read the eyes and hands of the receiver, not looking back and locating the football, but read the receiver. Late hands by Pokey Wilson didn't allow for Aiden White to do that, and the ball placed perfectly by Jordan Travis.
For 37 yards to the big 6th-year senior. And now a run on first down for 2 yards. Isaiah Moore the stop on Trayshawn Ward.
You know, it's interesting seeing these receivers for Florida State. You know, that's a really nice play by Pokey Wilson. You mentioned a 6th-year guy. You got all these new guys that come in. Pittman, Johnny Wilson. Seems to be a pretty unselfish group, and each week seems like they're taking turns stepping up.
Another chunk play. Florida State, you saw, leads the country in 20-plus yard plays this season. Inside the final minute here in this first quarter. Screen for Pittman and a low throw, and a flag down on the far side of the field.
Offside. Defense number 58. It's a 5-yard penalty. Second down.
That's a redshirt freshman defensive end, Trevally Price, who comes in to pass rush, and an inexperienced player making a mistake.
Yeah, and what's interesting about Florida State, sometimes they're going lightning fast, and then other times it seems like they're going lightning fast, but they're trying to get a look at the defense. And so these defensive linemen are sitting in their stances for a while, chomping at the bit.
Just outside the red zone, now it's 2nd down and 3 for Jordan Travis and Florida State. Lawrence Toafili is running back. Tries to get back to the line of scrimmage, and there comes the heat-seeking missile. Tanner Ingle, it brings up 3rd down.
Yeah, and it's clear that NC State is going to bring pressure. I mean, I think it's really only been a 3rd and, really long situation where they haven't brought pressure. And now with 3rd and medium and seeing Florida State run the ball on 3rd and 5 earlier in this football game, I would expect another pressure to come from this linebacking crew.
Final 5 seconds of the first. On 3rd down, Travis lofts it to the end zone and through the hands of Malik McLean, who had a chance. Shaheem battle in coverage.
Yeah, it's a great throw.
In the first quarter.
It's a great throw, and it goes right through McLean's hands. Has exactly what we want. Inside leverage, running a fade, and kind of just doesn't track the football great. And Jordan.
Florida State's kicker Ryan Fitzgerald has missed 5 field goals this year. So Mike Norvell will go for it on 4th down and 3 from the 23-yard line to start the 2nd quarter. Pressure off the edge. And incomplete. Travis wanted Johnny Wilson, and there's Aiden White. You said the best quarter NC State has had this season.
And he needed to play well because he ends up getting singled up. There's pressure coming off the right side, and he's just trying to throw this slant in behind. I actually think it's a good enough ball for Johnny Wilson to catch it, but slows him down just enough that maybe that allows Aiden White to get his hand in there and rake at the football.
3rd and 4th down, that's 2 pretty good balls from Jordan Travis.
Yeah, and listen, you can't fault Jordan Travis. He throws a great ball to Pokey Wilson on the go route, nearly hits McLean for the touchdown, and that's a big stop for the NC State defense.
Intended for Thayer Thomas on 1st down with Leary rolling out. You said to me during the break, Devin Leary has completed 1 pass in this game so far.
In the first quarter. I know NC State wants to be more patient with the run game, and they've called more runs than passes so far, but yeah, just in terms of number of snaps, you think about Florida State in the first quarter, runs 20 plays to NC State's 9.
Good to see Kevin Knowles back on the field for Florida State. This is Jordan Houston. He rumbles for a 1st down. He picks up 11 before he's stopped by Akeem Dent.
It's a nice cut by Jordan Houston. Knows where Grant Gibson's going to be. That's why he cuts it back right. You're not just running the daylight, know where your blockers are going to be. Jordan Houston is a pretty good player once he gets into space. The nice read.
Last 2 years, he sat behind Bam Knight and Ricky Person. Gets it again and has room again. Not the biggest guy. He pushes it forward, close to the sticks.
And there's Tim Beck, offensive coordinator, and he said to us, I think he had some regret that he wasn't more patient with the run game a week ago. I think that's one of the reasons we're seeing a heavy dose of it now. They do feel like their backs have played well. And I tell you, the guys up front, which is historically the case here for the Wolfpack, they've got a good group.
They will rotate through about 7 offensive linemen. And Houston driving the legs for another 1st down as we go down to Kelsey.
Well, guys, you see Jared Verse has not been in at all on this drive. He's standing on the sidelines. We saw him jog off when he got injured. That was a good sign. Did look like he was limping maybe a little bit when he was on the sidelines, but they checked him out pretty quickly. He's on the side now with his helmet on, which is normally a good sign, and we all know the impact that he's had on this program. He talked to us this week about the injury, saying that he felt like he was 100%. He learned he can't hesitate on the field. We'll see how he is the rest of this game.
Yeah, he told us he was thinking about that play nonstop, the play he got injured on. Leary with time to throw. Too high for Devin Carter. Duke Cooper in coverage.
Down on the bottom of the screen here, you see the receiver route. I mean, there's a lot of contact, to be honest with you. You probably see something called both ways on that, between Cooper's grab and the push from Carter. I really thought Leary should have worked the other side where he had a one-on-one rather than Devin Carter's way.
And now Jared Verse back into the game. Nearly got to Leary, who takes off. And he spins out of bounds, ushered out by Kalen DeLoach, 5 yards, 3rd down and 5.
Yeah, and here's Verse, coming right into the face of Leary, and I actually thought he had Houston right away, but because of the pressure, came off of it quickly. You just see the impact that Verse can have even when he doesn't create the sack, which is why you see, Mel Kiper Jr.'s got him rated as highly as he does.
Only 23 snaps for him, but he made an impact last week against Wake Forest. Now it's 3rd down for NC State. Leary, incomplete for Houston, brings up 4th down. Kalen DeLoach was there for the Noles.
It's a nice play by Kalen DeLoach. It's a screen. The screen game for NC State's been pretty good, and you block the guy who's covering the back in man-to-man coverage, which is what Gibson is trying to do there, and you got a big play.
Punted from around this spot earlier. They've got the offense out there ahead of 4th and 4.
Yeah, and to me, this is draw them off sides, take the penalty, and punt. I'd be surprised if they snap it.
And now a flag.
False start. Offense number 15. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Shea McDonough and the punt team comes out.
Yeah, and that's got to drive Dave Dorn nuts. Now, I don't know if they were going for it. He's going to kind of shake his head. There's no reason a receiver should be the guy flinching. And so now we're dealing with, the pre-snap penalties. I think all coaches probably describe as lack of focus, and there'd just be no excuse for that, the magnitude of this football game.
Second time on Keon Lassane, one of the veteran wide receivers, playing as well on special teams. Now McDonough, who has worked on his hang time since the opener. Fair catch by Micah Pittman at the 15. Florida State gets it back after this.
Having a tough, hard-nosed football team, and seems like they just continue to replace talent.
There's Jordan Travis with a ton of running room into the open field. And Jordan Travis runs out of bounds inside the 20.
Well, just when you think, hey, they're done with the quarterback runs, you see them playing downhill to the running back, and Jordan Travis just says, I'm going to keep this and go out the back door. And then nobody is accounting for the quarterback, and without that knee brace, you see Jordan Travis's speed in the open field.
Florida State had 78 yards total before that play. That was 71 there alone for Jordan Travis.
Listen, the quarterback run is going to create hesitation in terms of how you defend the traditional run game.
On first down, toward the end zone for Pittman! Oh, what a catch!
Mike, everything about this play is great. You just think about this for a quarterback. You just had a 70-something yard run. You're tired, and now you've got to throw an accurate ball, and you got to throw an accurate ball to Micah Pittman right to his right shoulder to make an easy adjustment with his left hand kind of tangled up. He's able to trap that ball into his body. That's a really impressive play by both guys.
Ryan Fitzgerald is good on the point after. Micah Pittman off a career day against Wake Forest when he had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and here's Pittman. He's going to run the inside fade. When you run the inside fade, you have all this room around you. So it's man coverage. It can be a back shoulder throw to allow him to adjust to it. And you just want to put it right on him. The coaching point oftentimes is throw it to the back of his helmet, and then Pittman with his left arm tangled up is able to make a play on the football.
Down to Kelsey for more on Micah Pittman.
Well, you can just tell the drive Micah Pittman has when you talk to him. He came, of course, over from Oregon, transferred in. He told us this week that he just felt like he wasn't getting the opportunities there that he deserved, but tried to be loyal. And he said, finally, I made a selfish decision for once in my life and came here. It was actually really interesting. He said when he started talking to Mike Norvell and the coaches here, he told him, listen, I don't need you to recruit me that hard. I don't need you to sell me on the facilities and all those things. He said he just wanted to be somewhere where they could win, where he could develop as a wide receiver, and where he could make an impact, and he's certainly done that. Mike Norvell told us he embraces the challenge, and because of his competitive spirit, you know he's going to get a response.
And boy, is it a big one for Florida State to surge in front here on the road off the loss last week.
Yeah, and seeing Pittman down on the field before the game, he almost looked like a tailback, honestly, like a thick tailback, not a wide receiver, which is why I think his run after the catch has been so special. But that's also a nice job playing the receiver position, just adjusting to the football and making a contact catch. Obviously, a lot of talent in his family. He showed quite a bit of talent of his own.
You say tailback, I say squat rack. I got self-conscious down there walking through the end zone.
Kind of different skill sets for these Florida State receivers as well.
All sorts of weapons for Mike Norvell. Demi Sumo Karngbe got free from Leonard Warner, but then the Knowles swarm on a first down run and a loss of 1.
I think one of the challenges that NC State has is, they feel like they have to have these sustained drives offensively. And so if you get behind schedule, now all of a sudden you're asking Devin Leary to be perfect on 3rd and long with a receiver group that just doesn't seem like you've connected with yet.
Still just one completion. And Thayer Thomas, who's in motion, doesn't have a touch. They swing it out to Sumo Karngbe with downfield blocking from Sed Sebro. And a good gain out of the backfield to bring up 3rd and short.
Listen, Sumo Karngbe, I mean, I think that you got to stay in bounds and try to pick up the 1st down here. You know, they run a little swing screen, and they have it blocked well on the perimeter, and he almost just allows it to take him out of bounds. I mean, your tailback finished the run, pick up the 1st down, because now you got a critical 3rd and 2.
Guys dealing with some midsection and lower body injuries. Leary rolling under pressure and gets it toward the sideline past the line of scrimmage, and it brings up 4th down and 2. Leonard Warner was there.
Yeah, they're trying to move the pocket once again, and there's nothing there. Great pursuit to the quarterback by the Florida State defense. And you're right, Mike, it was Warner setting that edge. You're trying to run a sprint out. Sumo Karngbe misses on the chip, and because he misses on the chip, you know, Bethune and Warner are there to get him down. And I go back to that 3rd down play. You finish the run, you're not dealing with a 3rd and 2.
So 4 drives, 2nd 3 and out for NC State. Another McDonough punt, fair catch by Micah Pittman. Florida State's got the momentum, the lead, and the football when we come back.
So?
The new iPhone.
So far for Florida State's been the quarterback running. This time it was the design run for Jordan Travis. Huge pickup, and you know, they quickly get to the line and take a shot into the end zone, and then just an awesome throw. Great adjustment by Pittman, and pretty quick drive because of the big plays from their quarterback.
Travis to Pittman, quick strike ability from Florida State, and they are right back on offense. Just over 10 minutes to go until halftime. Bubble screen for Micah Pittman. Drake Thomas drags him down to follow the point of quarterback run. That's something that you pointed out has hurt NC State's defense, Clemson and East Carolina this year.
There's no doubt about it. It bothered them, and you know, when you look at Jordan Travis coming into tonight, really hadn't been something that they were majoring in on offense. And so, you know, I'm sure it was prepared for, but you know, they just typically haven't been doing it. And so, you know, if you're going to see the Jordan Travis of previous years, you're going to see him carrying the football quite a bit.
Trayshawn Ward with running room. Makes a cut on Tanner Engel. Taken down inside the 30 by Shaheem Battle. And Trayshawn Ward slow to get up. Mike Norvell comes out to him after a gain of 40.
Player injury. Offense.
Leading rusher in the redshirt junior. He's had a big season so far. Former walk-on for the Noles. We'll check on Trayshawn Ward when we come back.
We pick up the phone because it's ringing. I should get this. Hello, this is Sam. How can I help you? That's simple human sense. Ask your independent.
Yeah, and then Rob Scott does a great job on Savion Jackson at getting the perimeter, and you see Ward's speed, great cut on Tanner Engel, just lands hard on that right shoulder.
So Lawrence Toafili comes in and starts wiggling forward on 1st down. He picks up 5. And Trayshawn Ward saw all his teammates come out to greet him there on the offensive side. It speaks to the guy he is.
It does, and you know, Mike Norvell told us he still has this walk-on mentality, that walk-on edge. Tell he clearly has the respect of his teammates. Now the good news for Florida State is they have 3 backs, 3 very capable backs that they can rotate through.
Travis. Cameron McDonald, his tight end, without much room. Devin Boykin to stop. There is a flag down in the NC State secondary.
Pass interference. Offense, number 14. Rolling on the field, the pass crossed the line of scrimmage. A 15-yard penalty. We played it down.
It's on Johnny Wilson. We go down to Kelsey.
Well, guys, Trayshawn Ward is headed into the locker room right now. Not a good sign for him or for Florida State. He's a guy that means a lot to this team. Offensive coordinator Alex Atkins said sometimes he's the guy you literally have to kick off the field because he's trying to coach other guys up at practice. He told us that it's so meaningful to him to be making an impact on this team. As you mentioned, was a former walk-on, has been with this program for a long time, and he said he couldn't imagine being here years ago. It means a lot to him. We'll see how he is and if he comes back out.
Great stuff, Kelsey, as Jordan Travis backed up into 2nd and 20. Durden with pressure. Travis escapes and slings it out of bounds. Just had to get rid of it. Now there's a flag down on the far side of the field at the tail end of it.
There's no foul for an ineligible receiver downfield. The quarterback was legally throwing the ball away. No foul. 3rd down.
That's the challenge sometimes. Really, it's just a 3-man rush. Travis didn't like what he saw downfield. Feels the pressure as he escapes. Look, linemen don't know, is he going to take off and run? Is he going to throw the football down the field? He ends up throwing it away. It's why there's no foul. But now with 3rd and 20, and again, I would expect NC State, just rushed 3 last time, to do the same thing here. Create small windows, potentially find a way to come up with a turnover.
Play clock at 5. Travis rifles it into and out of the hands of Pokey Wilson. Toward the sticks, now 4th down and 20.
Yeah, it's a great throw by Jordan Travis. You know, finds a window. Wasn't big. Pokey Wilson's got to hold on to it, and if he does, it's going to be 4th and less than 4, and maybe you're making a decision to go for it because of the kicking game, but it's a great ball right in that window between the linebackers. And Jordan Travis tonight, Mike, has had, you know, by my count, at least 3 drops that would have, you know, how this offense feels about, you know, their drives and how these drives have ended, would feel very differently about it.
Looked like Mike Norvell just said, "I know," when maybe alerted that the play clock was winding down there.
Play game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
And sure felt like NC State defensively and just as a team, they needed some sort of momentum. They get it from a stop despite some big chunk plays on the ground from the Florida State offense.
Yeah, and I think NC State's got to feel great about it. When you think about giving up runs of over 70 yards, over 30 yards, and over 20 yards.
North Carolina has declined the foul for delay of game. Still 4th down. Clock will start on the snap.
And the other aspect of it is guys have been open and the quarterback's delivered the ball. So, you know, you factor those things in, and to think that Florida State's just scored 7 points, I do think NC State's got to feel pretty good about it.
Dave Doran did not acquiesce to Mike Norvell's penalty. And a punt inside the 10. I got a couple good ACC games going on right now, including in Chestnut Hill. Some updates from around the conference. How about Brock Doman with no Malik Cunningham?
I mean, surprising that he came out. We've seen it happen before for Louisville. Their season's certainly been interesting. And then how about Duke losing to Georgia Tech? Now Georgia Tech, 2 in a row. And then Drake May, you know, continuing to play well, giving them a chance. And look, I've said it a few times. We've had a few North Carolina games. I've been as impressed by Drake May as a young player as maybe any quarterback I've seen in the conference.
Tackle made by Pat Payton on the first down run to Jordan Houston. Yeah, some close games there. And then Clemson, Boston College at last check was 3-3 headed toward halftime.
And it seems like, you know, anytime BC gets the red bandana game, seemed to maybe play with a little more emotion and fire, and that's a surprising score.
And a big-time marquee matchup here in Raleigh tonight. Florida State, NC State, both 4-1. Both were ranked last week and off their first losses of the season against Wake and Clemson, respectively. On a slant, that's complete. Darryl Jones, the Maryland transfer, enough for a first down.
And you can just see, and I almost like you can feel this NC State passing game. Just they want to get it going, you know, and you can see how close they can be. Just double slant. You mentioned Darryl Jones, who they're looking to get more opportunities for, have high hopes for him. Just trying to hit one of those slants and have some catch and run opportunity.
Still no catches for Thayer Thomas, the leading receiver, 5 in red, bottom of your screen. It's a handoff for Houston, and Payton strings it out, and Akeem Dent finishes the hit.
You mentioned Pat Payton's name twice now. He's, you know, I think a promising young player, just a redshirt freshman, but just got a great ability to kind of get to the corner, you know, as a pass rusher, and as he gets bigger and stronger with his length, it's going to be hard to run to his side.
We talked to Adam Fuller, the defensive coordinator for Florida State. He said he really liked the matchup, his defensive ends against the NC State offensive line. Second down at 10. Houston out of the backfield. And Jordan Houston with a chunk play for NC State in the plus territory.
Yeah, I think DJ Lundy gets confused. 46, he's going to have Houston coming out of the backfield, and he just kind of gets caught up in the traffic there. That creates Houston, you know, to get all in that open space, be wide open there, and you see Leary do a nice job of just seeing it quickly, putting the ball right on his back.
For 34 yards. Houston spinning this time, picks up about 5.
I think NC State, anytime they get into this plus territory, because they've been struggling for some big plays, I think any of their gadget plays are up and in play. Across the 50-yard line, you're looking for a spark. Thayer Thomas has typically been the player that would throw it if it's a double pass or something like that, and we think it's on the menu.
Not just yet, as they give to Houston. He picks up 5. Jared Verse swings him down. 3rd and 1 upcoming. And to your point, coaching staff said they keep 4 to 6 trick plays on the call sheet at any time they use it, and then they get rid of it.
Yeah, and it's been, you see Houston fighting tough for those yards as Payton and Verse swing him down. I think it's been something that they've done even when their offense has been rolling, but I also think it's something that, you know, helps you get creative and find ways to score points.
Batted down on 3rd down. There's Pat Payton flashing again. He did plays like that on the scout team as a redshirt last year.
Yeah, he's one of these guys. Adam Fuller said basically, look, when he's wrong, he's still right. You know, he just probably supposed to squeeze down off of the run action, but finds himself standing in the face of Devin Leary as he's trying to find his flat route, and not surprised to see the Wolfpack remain out on the field as an offense, potentially going for it on 4th and 1.
On the 7th play of the drive, headed toward halftime. Demi Sumo Karngbe, the running back. Leary to throw, looking for somewhere to go, and it's picked off. Jamie Robinson, the interception on 4th down.
Well, the play gets disrupted. They're trying to run a little action and then throw it in behind. And you look to the right of your screen, just bodies running into each other.
First down to the defense. We've asked for sideline warning on the defense. That's our first warning.
And Pavilion is essentially open, but there's not really a window. And, you know, if there's one thing that Leary struggles with, he's got a big, strong arm, but sometimes throwing the underneath routes just jump off his hand. It's turnover for that Wolfpack offense, and Florida State's got to feel good about it. NC State's trying to get the ball to the fullback going in the flat. Dent covers him. He's trying to get blocked by Pavilion, and basically what happens is Akeem Dent beats the block, gets underneath, and then Devin Leary's got nowhere to go with the football. He tries to readjust, get the ball to Pavilion, misses him high, and that's a big 4th down stop by the Seminoles,
who get it back up by 4 with about 4 to go until halftime on the road in Raleigh at Carter Finley Stadium. Tim Hasselbeck, Kelsey Riggs, Mike Monaco, our entire crew with you. Travis on the option with a flip for Benson and a sure-handed tackle by Drake Thomas.
That's a great play by Drake Thomas. He's essentially getting double teamed out on the perimeter. He sheds the block to Johnny Wilson and is able to make a play for just a 2-yard gain. And that's why these linebackers, they feel so good about him. We've seen it tonight. Wilson, Moore, and Drake Thomas all making plays.
They've been shorthanded in the secondary, like we've said. No Tyler Baker-Williams, the 5th-year senior nickel, and Derek Pitts out for this first half with targeting last week. Cyrus Fagan trips up Pokey Wilson, brings up 3rd down and 4.
You see Jordan Travis saying, hey, let's go. You know, he does a good job of reading that there. That was an RPO. Gets it outside, throws it into the blitz, which is what you want to do. And would not surprise me to see a similar play just the other direction.
The crowd injecting some bark into this NC State defense ahead of 3rd down. Benson left side. Benson a 1st down. Shakes a tackle. Gets free from Thomas and tumbles down. And Trey Benson with 26 yards to convert.
Yeah, this is really well blocked. They're coming this way, and here comes Benson. And then watch the way Benson finishes this run. It's a good job by Rob Scott with the kick-out block. And then Tanner Engel, who's been described to us as a human missile, just gets run through by Benson.
Screen for Pittman. Thomas makes another good tackle. Fair to say Rob Scott at left tackle being back has made a world of difference.
Yeah, I don't think it's any secret why Mike Norvell said he's one of our best players. And I've seen him run that direction a few times and just getting movement. With these backs for Florida State, just giving them a crease, you can see the damage they're able to do.
It had been Darius Washington filling Scott's spot at left tackle. 4 runs of 20-plus yards for Florida State in this first half. Play clock at 3. Lawrence Toafili, maybe a yard. Now it's 3rd and long for Florida State.
You know, in every 3rd and long we've seen so far for NC State defensively, they've just rushed 3. You know, and I think you rush 3, you try to keep somebody there to run with Jordan Travis, because honestly, that's really been the biggest problem for NC State defensively.
And a timeout by NC State with 1:07 to go here until halftime.
Timeout will be 30 seconds. Please reset the game clock to 1:14, please. 1:14.
So big time showdown in this one, and you look at how it has played out to this point. Low scoring. The defenses have stood tall on both sides up here in the booth. Tim and Mike with you. What has stood out from your vantage point?
You know, I think Jordan Travis's health. You know, we saw him earlier this year, and he's lugging around a knee brace. They weren't using him as a design runner, which is something he's been great at doing throughout his career. And then I think the continued struggles, if you will, in terms of the passing game, just not connecting for Devin Leary in these Wolfpack wide receivers.
Big runs from Travis and company in this first half. Third down and 11. Travis looks right. Watch Wilson, who high points the football, and the Noles convert. Johnny Wilson's first catch of the ball game.
Yeah, and they rush 5, NC State does. They come after him, which means you get a one-on-one opportunity, and you got Johnny Wilson going against 5'10" Tanner Engel, and Florida State will take that matchup every single time.
The free safety for NC State forced into coverage. We were told on third downs it would be Tyler Baker-Williams if he were healthy, but he's got the ankle injury. And now running room, and Lawrence Toafili's into the end zone. Touchdown, Florida State.
Just a good job of the guys up front for Florida State. Just a zone run. Everybody gets moving to the right. And Toafili, who's an experienced back, presses the hole, puts his foot in the ground, and gets up the field. And kind of the over pursuit of the second level of that defense opened everything wide open for Toafili to find his way into the end zone.
You talked about how many different guys there are for this Florida State offense. Trayshawn Ward goes out. Johnny Wilson hadn't been heard from. Well, then Wilson emerges. Toafili runs it in from a dozen yards out, and Florida State leads by 11 as we check out the Bojangles Big Bo moment from tonight's game.
Yeah, well, it starts, you know, with the Benson run. I mean, just running through so much power on this drive, and you know, and then Jordan Travis, who has been money tonight in terms of ball location, finds Johnny Wilson. And then this is what I mean. All these linemen, everybody moving to the right. It's a zone run. And then watch what Benson does. Foot in the ground and get up the field. And you see 11, Peyton Wilson, just going to basically end up over pursuing. And you do that, you don't have the proper run fits. And Toafili able to kind of have an easy stroll into the end zone. It's an impressive drive, and it's been an impressive night so far, Mike, by Jordan Travis in terms of decision-making, accuracy. They've been balanced offensively with run and pass and been pretty efficient.
Saw the rushing numbers. You heard Eric McLean and company in the studio pregame talking about how both these teams struggled to run last week. And Florida State, Jordan Travis, they had some offensive line issues in the game last week as well. They look really sharp here in this first half.
Yeah, and look, they're doing it with multiple backs. They're doing it because their quarterback now has been part of the design run game. And I said it earlier, you know, before Mike Norvell got here, the offensive line was in a bad spot. It wasn't good. They weren't playing well. I'm not sure they were being coached all that well, and that has changed quickly here, and they're playing well enough to give their skill position players a chance, and they've delivered.
2 timeouts, less than a minute to go until halftime for NC State, and what a catch by Thayer Thomas. His first catch of the ball game, the leading receiver for the Pack.
And this is going to be interesting here because I didn't think he was in bounds.
Running on the field is a catch. That play is under further review.
Well, what's going to be interesting is does that left foot come down prior to the right foot? Because the left foot's clearly in, the right foot's clearly out. It's hard to tell which one comes down first.
The best toe-tapping effort from Thayer Thomas.
It's a great catch. It's a dangerous throw. When you look at it, I mean, the defender's underneath them right there. Ball could be picked. I mean, it feels to me like the right foot just barely comes down first, and I think probably enough information with the call being on the field that he was inbounds. Probably enough information, you know, via the video and the shots we have that would be overturned. It's a dangerous throw. I mean, you know, it's called, ends up being an incompletion here, but the reality is you may be fortunate that that ball wasn't intercepted. You know, Kevin Knowles, who we've called out a few times already tonight, if he's looking back at the football, he's maybe in a better position to catch it than Thayer Thomas is.
And maybe for Leary, just a sense of trying to force feed the guy who has been his best option of any skill guy all season.
That's a legitimate point for sure, because it's been a bit of a struggle in the passing game, and they're looking for foul. I mean, look, Tim Beck basically said, we're trying to do everything we can to get Thayer Thomas the football. I mean, we've done everything but put him at center to let him touch the football. And just quarterback trusts him. He's in the right place at the right time, and he's been a really good player. But it's hard because we see the opposite of that. We see when a quarterback has multiple guys he can throw the football to that he trusts. That's what Florida State has right now. Right now, North Carolina State is looking for that.
Tim Beck, the offensive coordinator, said to us yesterday, right now we miss the game breakers. The guy who can make the 50-50 catch, or the really fast guy who can catch an out pattern, make a few guys miss, and just go.
Yeah, they've had those guys. And
After further review, it's an incomplete pass. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 25.
they've had those guys in the past, you know, and to make they call them contact catches, the 50-50 balls, and then also the speed. But I mean, you just look at, the start. Devin Leary's been a great player. It's been a tough start.
And now he's under pressure from Malcolm Ray. Slipped free, gets it to Sumo Karngbe. Goes out of bounds, forced out by Akeem Dent. 34 seconds to go in the half.
And I feel like that play right there encapsulates like what a struggle it's been, how hard it's been. Like there was a lot of effort to get the ball back basically to the line of scrimmage by Devin Leary.
Now what do you do? I mean, Florida State has all 3 timeouts, 34 seconds to work with.
I think you run the football.
Demi Sumo Karngbe. Stacked up and dropped by Shaheen Brown. Some boos from the NC State fans. It does force Florida State to take a timeout with 23 seconds to go with 4th down upcoming.
Yeah, boos from the fans, but that's exactly what Dave Dorn wanted Florida State to do.
Yep.
Timeout. Florida State. First charge timeout. 30-second timeout. Please reset the game clock to 27 seconds, please.
It's 3rd and 10. You're most likely, headed for a punt. You're going to get the ball to start the second half, so you don't want to be in a situation where, you have a turnover, give them a short field, whatever it may be. Keep the ball on the ground, force Florida State to take the timeout, and eliminate one of their timeouts if, in fact, they try to put together a 2-minute drive.
Mike Norvell just told his team, be smart.
Well, he's talking to Micah Pittman, basically saying, look, what we don't need you to do is turn this football over, back in our own end.
Shane McDonough to boot it away. And Micah Pittman bluffs it. Pokey Wilson picks it up. And Pokey Wilson past the 50. And Pokey Wilson in the plus territory with 10 seconds to go, and Florida State trying to add on here before halftime.
This is an amazing special teams design here. Basically what happens, Pittman runs to his right, acting like he's fielding the football. But the ball is punted to the right. Look at Pokey Wilson is looking for the football right now. This is designed. The coverage team is all coming down here, and here's Pokey Wilson where the football is. But everybody is chasing the returner, who is Michael Pittman. That's a designed call by the special teams group of Florida State. It's perfectly executed, and North Carolina State falls for it.
46 yards on the return by Pokey Wilson. In the final 10 seconds, Travis on a completion inside the 30. 3 seconds left. The second timeout used by Mike Norvell.
Timeout. Florida State.
Well, Ryan Fitzgerald has had his struggles in recent weeks. Redshirt junior has missed 5 field goals and an extra point this season. Mike Norvell told us he was going to stick with Fitzgerald, who's out for his first attempt in this game.
Well, and he also said that he's kind of had competitions in practice. They trust him. You know, he had a good year last year, and I think that every time they have the competitions, he wins them. I think, you know, anybody that, you know, probably has watched kickers enough sometimes to just be about the confidence in what's in your head, and this certainly would be a confidence boost if Fitzgerald's able to knock this one through.
Timeout used by NC State to ice Fitzgerald.
Which is a good move, because as we talk about the mental aspect of this position, if we go back to this return, this is really well done. Ball's punted to the right. Look at Pittman running to his right, acting like he's fielding the football, how that draws the return team. Pokey Wilson knows that's what he's doing. It's the design of the play. He locates the ball where it's punted, and now you've got a fast receiver screaming up the sideline.
You know who Pokey Wilson couldn't fake out? Ernie, our camera guy. He was with it all the way.
Well, that's not surprising. Ernie's done his homework, and this is a really cool play, you know, in terms of a return called by Florida State.
From 47 yards for Ryan Fitzgerald, with the kick on its way, and good. And how about the teammates picking up Ryan Fitzgerald?
Well, the celebration, you talk about the confidence boost that that could have. I mean, you look at everybody excited about it, and it's a pretty good kick. Didn't have a ton of distance left, but at the back door, the design quarterback run, and then it was Trey Benson just running through contact. And Tuafili just punching it in with the guys up front doing a good job. That's the biggest surprise to me, Mike, when you look at this matchup. All the things you could have predicted. NC State's been great at defending the run, but that was not the case in the first half against the Seminole rushing attack.
Julian Gray on the kick return to begin the third quarter, only to the 16-yard line. So for NC State offensively, you heard Dave Doran say a lot of press coverage. Someone has to beat that in the man-to-man for Devin Leary to have weapons to throw to.
Well, yeah, and it's got to start with Thayer Thomas, and then it's going to go at that point to Devin Carter. But yeah, look, they need to find a way to get open. The other thing they need to do is convert on third down, which is something they haven't been able to do at all tonight. 0 for 6 in the first half.
Big swing right before halftime with the trickery on the punt return, and Ryan Fitzgerald with the field goal. On the ground, Jordan Houston. One thing you can say for NC State offensively, they have stayed patient with the run in a way they didn't for Tim Beck, the offensive coordinator, last week.
They most certainly have, and you know, part of what happens when you do that, you know, you're not throwing the football as much, and by doing that, and then also just not having the ball as much as Florida State had the ball in the first half, just feels like this offense is yet to find a rhythm.
It was in spots like these, two-score game where Beck felt like he went too pass heavy. So the first two plays here, on the ground, Houston a first down, Akeem Dent the tackle.
Look, a good start in terms of how they're running the football. I guarantee you, we've done enough NC State games that, and you heard it in Dave Doran's voice talking to Kelsey, like, we have to do everything different. You know, I'm sure that he got their attention, at least looks like it on the first two plays.
14th ranked team in the country. Houston a third time, and he's dropped by Tatum Bethune in the backfield, springing to him for a loss of 3.
You know, Bethune's a guy who, you know, does such a good job of playing with quickness, and you just see there, just kind of anticipating what's coming. Again, guards are pulling, finding a crease to get to the back, and I think they've been surprised. They knew he's a good player, but the quickness that he plays with has been a nice surprise for this Florida State defense.
UCF transfer, the second leading tackler. Leary to the air. Sideline, and there's one of those contact catches you were talking about. Keon Lesane, the grab.
Yeah, and it's not just about creating separation. It's Keon Lesane, contested catch, good location. And so the key on this, Mike, is exactly that. The guy's got to make the contested catch, but Devin Leary has to put the ball in a place where he can make a catch. He did that there for Lassane, and Lassane delivered.
25 yards. Now a swing pass for Houston. Turns it upfield. And Jordan Houston and this NC State offense clicking better to start this second half. And now Jamie Robinson is still down for Florida State after a first half in which the Noles had 4 different players get injured.
You know, Mike Norvell said, talking to Kelsey at, going into halftime, that look, they already got into their depth. That was the way he described it, and basically said, look, it's been like that all year, with injuries, which is the case on most teams in college football. But I think the key players that we're seeing down probably causes the greatest concern. You're talking about Verse and Cooper and Jamie Robinson, who you see Robinson, number 10, kind of finishing that tackle, and if things get twisted up there underneath as he's bringing Houston down, but good to see him walking off under his own power.
Preseason All-American, redshirt junior free safety who leads the team in tackles. You saw Fabian Lovett. He's out for a 4th straight game. Robert Cooper, the nose tackle, went down early on in this game. We did see Jared Verse return in the first half. Kevin Knowles came back in as well, the nickel. So NC State trying to grab some offensive continuity here out of halftime. Here's Demi Sumo Kangbe springing forward and still not down. The Pack push him inside the 25 on a gain of 16.
A gain of 16, it's just a downhill run, running right at him. We've seen some horizontal runs from the Wolfpack offense so far tonight, but that one was just right at you. And Sumo Kangbe, who's definitely dealing with some bruises, is a more physical runner than a speed runner, and you can see that with the way he finished.
He stays beside Leary. Gets it again, running into the teeth of the Florida State defense, right at Jarrett Jackson.
And one of the things that Tim Beck has wanted to do is stay a little more simple on offense and just get more reps at running the same plays. That's the same exact run, 2 plays in a row by NC State. And I think that, repetition, kind of breeding the confidence in the speed which guys can play with. And I think that's kind of some of the things I would expect them to get back to for this second half.
Leary. Sumo Kangbe out of the backfield. Got free from Dent, and that is finishing a run in a way he didn't to Uri in the first half.
Yeah, in the first half they run a swing screen where he's got a chance to pick up the first down. Instead, this is a kind of an outlet throw and a great finish by Sumo Kangbe, and you can just tell what it's done to the stadium, Mike. The tough finish on the run prior, and then the finish after the reception kind of re-energized this crowd also.
From the 12, Houston runs over Lundy. Shaheem Brown wraps him up 2 yards on first down for Jordan Houston to the 10.
And I think we're seeing the evidence of why they want to stay patient with the run game is the way these backs are breaking tackles. Look, if you can fall forward even when it's not blocked perfectly, which it wasn't right there, that's a good sign for your offense and staying on schedule, and then creating some of the opportunities you want in the passing game rather than being forced to throw on known passing downs.
Houston remains in. You saw Sumo Kangbe seated on the Wolfpack sideline. Leary over the middle for a touchdown. Darryl Jones, and what a start to the second half for NC State.
It's a perfectly timed call by Tim Beck. Basically, they've been running the football, pounding, just chipping away, then play action, and they happen to call it right into a corner blitz. which allows for Daryl Jones to then be running on a safety, just be able to get his body inside, and then good accurate throw by Devin Leary.
First touchdown in an NC State uniform for Daryl Jones, the Maryland transfer.
Well, a rough end to the first half for the Wolfpack, but they come out swinging in the second half. It's Devin Leary to the end zone to Daryl Jones, and the Wolfpack not going away easily.
So?
We're definitely running the football. It was the big play to Lassane down the sideline, and then obviously a pass to Jones for the score. And I think that's more of what Dave Dorn envisions his offense to look like, as they kind of are being directed by one of the better quarterbacks in the conference.
So Florida State up by 7. After the 10-play drive, they have it for the first time here. They racked up nearly 300 yards of total offense in the first half, and they were really good on third down. Tariq Pitts able to play in the second half, targeting penalty in the fourth quarter last week on DJ Uiagalelei, one of 3 corners who they view as co-starters for Tony Gibson. Lawrence Toafili begins as the running back, and he is swarmed. Davin Vann and Drake Thomas the stop for the Pack, and the momentum builds.
The momentum does build, Mike. You know, we kind of saw it with some of those tough runs on offense, kind of got the crowd back into it, and with a big stop on first down, felt like all of a sudden, you know, the fan base here, you know, is back in this, feeling like, hey, we're right there.
Dave Doran told Kelsey he felt like the defense pressed, in particular against the run in that second quarter. After a loss of 4, just 3, Travis finds his man, Pokey Wilson, who had the great punt return right before halftime on the trickeration.
You know, I mean, this defense to me just seems like it's playing with confidence. I mean, they were in empty, Florida State was, and so you saw the communication out of the linebacking crew probably calling off a blitz and playing coverage, and now you get a known passing situation. You know, Davin Vann, whose name you just said, did a pretty good job on a pass rush earlier. Would not be surprised to see them rush 3 and see if Vann can get home again.
45 in red. They bring pressure. Travis fires. Incomplete. Another hurtful drop for Florida State.
Almost like Johnny Wilson didn't even locate the football. So obviously bad route distribution between Pittman and Wilson. They shouldn't be right near each other. I mean, that ball's going to hit the 4 of his 14, and they're going to pick up the first down if he can catch that one. And yet another drop by these Florida State receivers when Jordan Travis has been pretty much on target all night.
Another punt for Alex Mastromano, the redshirt sophomore from Australia. With their Thomas back for NC State. A low spinner. Thomas fields just outside his 35. And it'll be great field position for NC State with momentum here in the third at home in Raleigh. Whatever the halftime message was from Dave Doran, it has worked so far.
I think he got it loud and clear, or the team got it loud and clear. And listen, offensively, they did stay patient with the run. They had some good hard runs that I think sparked that offense, a couple of contested catches, and next thing you know, the defense was out there and they were swarming around, and so the quick stop by the defense has certainly energized the crowd, energized the sideline for NC State. And look, if they were able to put one in the end zone on this drive, I think this place will go crazy.
inside a stadium where it has been nearly 2 full years since NC State last lost. Leary wanted to take a shot. He throws left side, incomplete, intended for Devin Carter. They were trying to get this place to erupt with the first play here.
They really were. Called a shot play, and it was covered well by Florida State. And even though he had time, Leary just not able to find anybody. Carter tried to work back for him, but probably smart to throw it away.
Jamie Robinson back out there for Florida State. On second down, quick throw, right side, Ced Sebro, who had his first career touchdown last week, one of the tight ends. Brings up third down and manageable for NC State.
You know, and we've said it a few times tonight, it's been a pretty quiet night for Thayer Thomas. Like, these are the moments where really he's at his best. You know, the guy the quarterback trusts the most, the guy that works the middle of the field, and on third and medium, a lot of times as a quarterback, that's where you're looking to go with the ball.
He's slot left, Kevin Knowles on him. Leary, what a catch and then a drop. Spinning bid from Jordan Houston to bring up fourth down.
Yeah, and Leary just trying to stick it on Houston, similar to the route that he hit him on earlier, and it's kind of open initially, but he's got to back shoulder him some. It's been a phenomenal adjustment by Houston, but you know, for running backs, the coaching point is often keep it in the frame of his body. You know, he's not a receiver. You start making tight ends and running backs reach, you know, they don't often catch those, and certainly was the case for Houston.
So good stop from this Florida State defense, forcing the 3 and out. Midway through the third, a fair catch signal from Micah Pittman at his 15. Well, we knew that NC State was going to send pressure at Jordan Travis, and it's a unique defense for NC State, a 3-3-5. How do you think the Seminole offense has handled all that?
I think the offensive line has done a great job, especially in the passing game, and I think that Jordan Travis has handled it because even though he's been under pressure, he's been accurate with the football. I think the big surprise for me is the way that the Florida State receivers have dropped the football.
We've counted 4. 3 of them in the first half on pretty good throws from Jordan Travis. You saw Derek Pitts is in there on this drive defensively at corner. Bottom of your screen, 24 in red for NC State. Travis keeps speed to get past Peyton Wilson, and Travis turns the corner with a first down run out by Pitts.
Florida State is trying to be slow with what side they offset the back to, and the defense is reacting to that side. Now Jordan Travis keeps this as they fake the ball away, and Peyton Wilson, who's really there to account for the quarterback, just isn't able to contain him.
.100 rushing yards now for Jordan Travis. Benson stopped by Wilson and Pitts on first down, earning a couple.
Part of what's happening here, Florida State is trying to hold what side they're offsetting the back to. And NC State, what they are doing is they are pressuring the side away from the back, because oftentimes that's where the back is headed in the run game.
So here the pressure would be from Travis's right.
Correct.
And it's coming from that way. Travis has to get rid of it quickly. Into traffic, incomplete. Pittman and Pokey Wilson in the vicinity. Cyrus Fagan back there in coverage.
And this is what I mean. Here comes the pressure from the right. And to be honest with you, this is just a hope and a prayer by Jordan Travis. Got pressure off his back foot into a ton of traffic. And he's actually fortunate that Cyrus Fagan, who was definitely there, didn't make a play on the football.
Another third down for Jordan Travis and this Florida State offense. On 3rd and 7. Travis over the middle. Wilson diving for it and incomplete. 4th down.
4th down, and probably had a chance to make a great throw. And basically, Peyton Wilson, who's in zone coverage, matches and does a good job of just being inside enough. And probably his length scared Jordan Travis to make him feel like he had to be perfect with the throw. Not able to squeeze it in there to Johnny Wilson, and another good defensive stop for NC State.
Romano just got it away. And it bounces out right near the 25. Florida State by 7 on the road, leading number 4, father and friend. So keeping Tom's wife Carol, their 2 daughters, and all his cherished officiating buddies in our thoughts and prayers as they mourn his loss. Out of the timeout, Jared Verse makes a big stop on Jordan Houston running on 1st down. We've seen one great drive in this 3rd from NC State, 1 3 and out. And now staring down 2nd down and 15. Leary, right side. And some tugging there on a pass intended for Darrell Jones, and a flag does fly. Renardo Green, the corner in coverage.
Holding defense number 8. A 10-yard penalty carries an automatic 1st down.
Yeah, down at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see Darrell Jones, and he clearly gets held, kind of gets held twice. And look, that's what they need. Like, look, that for this offense, that's as good. You'll take that. You know, it's as good as a completion, if you will. And look, I think they're finding something in Darrell Jones, because they definitely had high hopes for the Maryland transfer, and he's delivered on a few of his opportunities tonight.
Dave Doran told us yesterday he had a really good week of practice. He's had 8 catches the last 2 weeks coming into tonight, and he was really involved late against Clemson. Leary steps up and he's drilled as he throws. Incomplete, flag down next to Leary. Josh Farmer popped him.
There's going to be a lot to look at.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 44. It's a 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Roughing the passer on Josh Farmer, the redshirt freshman defensive tackle.
See, Leary stepping up to throw, and I think, you know, it's the contact that's high by Farmer, who just a redshirt freshman. And you know, when the quarterback's a passer in the pocket, he's deemed a defensive player.
It's an incomplete pass.
They're looking in that right shoulder area, it appears, of Devin Leary.
Yeah, and that's not a good sign for, you know, obviously a right-handed thrower. And, you know, I think one of the reasons that, you know, a quarterback is deemed a defenseless player inside the pocket is, you know, when you're standing there and so exposed and you're throwing the football, you know, you're opening yourself up. And, you know, Farmer, as he hits him high, obviously with some pretty good contact. It's a pretty violent hit. You know, and with Leary's arm coming forward and then just stopping immediately as the contact from Farmer comes, it's just a pretty vulnerable position to be in as a quarterback, and it's good to see Leary get to his feet.
Tim Beck said, you know, 2 things are givens with Devin Leary. Incredible arm talent and incredible toughness. Boy, he is in a ton of pain as he heads toward the sideline.
Yeah. And so, you know, listen, it's clearly roughing because of the contact up into the head and neck area of the quarterback. And, you know, as you see Leary come off the field, that is not a good sign. One thing that is for certain is he is tough. And kind of his grit and toughness has fit perfectly with this program, and he's a guy that's come back from a broken leg, and now a roughing the passer on him has knocked him out of this football game.
Well, you saw Jack Chambers will now take the field. Fifth-year senior, guy who spent 4 years at FCS Charleston Southern, transfers in, and now he steps into a one-score game in a marquee matchup with Florida State. So naturally they run it on his first snap, a handoff to Jordan Houston.
Well, and listen, just on Chambers, you mentioned Charleston Southern had over 900 career attempts there. They threw the football a lot. And
Timeout. Injured player. Defense.
Two-time captain in his time at Charleston Southern. And another Florida State player down on the defense.
you know, the thing, you always hate to lose your quarterback, and you never like seeing somebody get injured. I think the thing that's probably as concerning for Dave Dorn and Tim Beck and the rest of the NC State football teams, that, you know, it comes on a play that's a penalty. You know, a play that, you know, probably in their estimation shouldn't have happened. And, you know, now, as you say, Mike, you know, a one-score game, and you have a transfer from Charleston Southern who hasn't thrown a pass for this program.
That's Jarrett Jackson, redshirt junior defensive tackle. And if you're a Florida State fan, you're thinking, how many guys are we going to see this happen to in the first half of this season?
Well, and especially inside. You know, Jackson's 12. I believe that's him right there. He's changing directions. It's hard to tell when that, you know, would have happened. There's obviously a lot of contact in the trenches. But you're right, Mike, they're getting thin, especially on the interior of that defensive line, which honestly is why we see Farmer in the game, because, you know, he's really in the three deep inside.
So now it's Farmer and Malcolm Ray. Another handoff, and how about the tackle by DJ Lundy? Absolutely sticking Jordan Houston.
Yeah, and Lundy is a load inside. We saw him kind of get confused in pass, you know, defense earlier, but here's 46, and he's just playing downhill. Does a good job of fighting off the block of Grant Gibson, who's a really good player. You can see why he's a load. Definitely packs a punch when he gets there.
NC State 0 for 7 on third down with the backup quarterback. Chambers tucks it, and Chambers creates for a first down. Welcome to the ball game, Jack Chambers.
Welcome to the ball game is right. Really doesn't like what he sees. Does a nice job of climbing in the pocket and then remaining a passer. And listen, the best fake for a quarterback is the pump fake. Gets everybody and gets Akeem Dent there.
Sometimes it does not need to be much. Now Houston running off the left side with a good gain on first down. Patrick Payton the stop after a gain of 5.
Gain of 5. Wolfpack.
It's not Demi Sumo Karngbe who comes in here. DeMarcus Jones, one of the backup running backs, comes into the pistol behind Chambers. Chambers keeps right side with his legs again, and another first down from Jack Chambers.
Well, that's just a called QB keep. I think they call the run and basically say, hey, you keep it. And you just see the run action. Really the first misdirection, play action kind of action that Florida State has seen tonight out of the Wolfpack offense. And clearly the ability to use his legs a little bit different than Devin Leary for Jack Chambers.
Played a little bit against Charleston Southern in a blowout. Same with UConn in a big win for the Wolfpack. And then one snap last week when Leary's helmet came off. DJ Lundy another tackle as the Wolfpack stay on the ground.
And I think, finding, what he's comfortable with in the passing game is going to be the challenge for Tim Beck. And clearly plenty of experience playing college football, albeit with a different program.
He was all conference last year for Charleston Southern. Chambers threw it low for Ced Sebro, and now it's 3rd down and 9.
And I really think he had a missed opportunity there to Porter Rooks. He throws the little stick route underneath, but he had Porter Rooks on an inside fade with plenty of room to let him adjust. The passing game will move fast in this environment for Chambers.
Ninth play of the drive. No Thayer Thomas on the field. Chambers runs and won't get close. Payton the tackle, 4th down.
Yeah, and that's a nice defensive play call by Adam Fuller. I think anticipating screen and draw, you almost heard the defenders scream and screen in that situation, so he wraps back his defensive ends. Both Patrick Payton and Jared Verse wrapped back inside looking for a screen or draw, and that's why they were there to make the play on Chambers.
So Chris Dunn, very confident right now, comes out for a 40-yard try. All-time points leader here at NC State. And Chris Dunn makes it a 4-point game in the final minute of this 3rd quarter.
I mentioned earlier I thought he missed an opportunity for a touchdown. Here's a little stick route which he throws, but I thought he should have thrown this inside fade, much like with the ball we saw Jordan Travis throw a touchdown pass on earlier. You have all that room to throw a back shoulder throw to Porter Rooks. I think that's the one-on-one opportunity you want to take if you're Jack Chambers. I think he missed that one there and forces them to settle for a field goal.
So Chambers gets him something there after being pressed into duty with Devin Leary to the locker room for Dave Doran's group.
Yeah, and Chambers you see on the phone probably talking to Tim Beck. What's interesting, comes from an air raid system, and so the difference in changing from playing in an air raid system where it's really grip it and rip it, now a lot more decision making that takes place, and so it's probably a matter of simplifying the plan for what he's comfortable with.
Trey Benson thought about taking it out. And we go down to Kelsey Riggs.
Well, guys, I've got some injury updates, and unfortunately there are a lot of them. For NC State, still waiting to get an update on Devin Leary. I can tell you no one has come in or out of that locker room since they took him back to provide any updates to coaches on the field. But also running back Demi Sumo Karngbe, his return is questionable for NC State. On the other side of things, for Florida State, Trayshawn Ward, their running back, he came out of the locker room after the half wearing street clothes. He has a sling on his right arm. And then you guys mentioned earlier, defensive lineman Robert Cooper, he was injured in the 1st quarter. He did not return to the sidelines in the 2nd half, so he is out. They are thin at that position with Fabian Levitt also out.
You got to put an MD after Kelsey Riggs' name, the way this game has gone now on both sides. Travis throws. He finds Pokey Wilson close to the sticks, on target for a Florida State offense that has not got on gear here in the 3rd.
No, and I think to get in gear, rely on 13. Would expect them to push tempo and give Jordan Travis some opportunities in the run game.
After a gain of 9, Toa Philly brought down shy of the line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 3rd down and short. And a flag down. Dylan Gibbons went tumbling at the tail end of that play, blocking. Looked like he got tied up with Savion Jackson, the defensive end for the Wolfpack. And this is a big call. Referee Jeff Flanagan.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 75 in the offense. The 15-yard penalty. It'll be third down. That's number 75's first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
The left the left guard is Gibbons, and he's just going to stay on him. You know, the play's down right there, and it's this finish afterwards that's just too late, and then obviously the finish to the ground, you see the flag come out immediately, and Gibbons almost looked as if he didn't know that the play was over, and that's a huge penalty for a Florida State offense that's been struggling.
Instead of third down and 2, third down and 17. Final seconds of the quarter. Travis zips one incomplete. Cyrus Fagan breaks it up, playing for the first time against his former team.
That's a great job of timing it up by Fagan. They're trying to hit the in cut, and Fagan does a good job of not getting there too early, just trusting it. And really well done by the Florida State transfer, driving on the ball.
Back in Raleigh, this heavyweight showdown has lived up to it. 4-point game, Florida State leads NC State as we start the fourth quarter. Alex Mastromano does not punt, and now he boots it ahead of the line of scrimmage, all the way down inside the 20. Flag down back at the 20. He thought about taking off.
Well, and he should have, because he actually would have ended up picking up the first down. I mean, he felt the pressure, which is why he didn't punt it. See the pressure off the right side by Julian Gray.
Really on the field, as the kicker was beyond the line of scrimmage when he kicked the ball. The penalty was 5 yards from the previous spot, and carries a loss of down. Ball goes over, first down.
He realized 17 yards is a long way to go, and because of that penalty, NC State is knocking on the door.
Hey, it's a long way to go, but he's going to pick up a first down. But obviously, not used to being in that situation. At the last minute, he decides to go ahead and kick the football, and clearly his entire body across that line as he kicks it. That's a huge break for NC State, because what really was a reaction to not punt the football could have turned into picking up a first down on 4th and forever as you're backed up, but kind of the panic level to punt the football has given NC State an amazing opportunity.
3 huge penalties from Florida State in just over a quarter in the second half.
I didn't think there could be a penalty bigger than the personal foul on Gibbons just a while ago, but look at what this penalty has done for NC State, who are trying to find a way to generate offense with their backup quarterback in the game.
If you're just joining us, first of all, welcome. Second of all, Devin Leary left last quarter holding in the direction of his right shoulder after he got brought down hard by Josh Farmer, who got whistled for roughing the passer.
14 minutes and 55 seconds, please.
And so Jack Chambers, who left Charleston Southern, is a walk-on at NC State. He has played half a drive so far, and now he's got a chance to put NC State in front. There, Thomas in motion. Thomas to throw, back to Chambers, and well defended. Josh Farmer stayed home.
That to me is an acknowledgement. Basically, here comes their Thomas, and he's going to act like he's running a fly sweep, and it's the throwback to Chambers that they're trying to hit. And you know, Florida State doesn't buy it. It's actually great recognition early on by that defensive line. Farmer does a good job of seeing it. Malcolm Ray as well, and that's an acknowledgement that, hey, we're struggling to find ways to move the football even though we're inside the 15.
Chambers rolls and can't get free. Malcolm Ray helps out Derek McClendon. A sack, and NC State's going in the wrong direction. And Devin Leary comes out in a sling, officially ruled out for the rest of this game, obviously.
Yeah, and that is obviously not a great sign. You feel for Leary, who's battled through injuries through his career, and I'm sure his teammates will still be happy to see him on the sideline as they see him as such a leader. Now it's Jack Chambers' time. Got to be careful here to make a good decision on 3rd and forever.
Trust your kicker, Chris Dunn. He's got plenty of range. So conservative again on another Chambers-led 3rd down these last couple of drives for NC State. Now there is a flag down in the backfield.
And it's Tim McKay at right tackle on Patrick Payton they're going to get for the hold. Now all of a sudden the field goal attempt potentially got a little more interesting.
Holding, offense number 74, penalty is 10 yards. Still 3rd down.
Well, they end up getting Anthony Belton on the other side. I really thought, you see in the background, kind of had 2 takedowns by both tackles for NC State. And we've seen quarterback draws now a couple times, you know, for NC State in these situations where it's a known passing down, you maybe don't trust your quarterback, so I'd look for wide receiver screen, running back screen, something safe.
Chambers takes a shot toward the end zone for Jones, and incomplete. Jarian Jones in coverage for Florida State, and there is another flag down, and again, NC State backing up, and now you're outside the range of Chris Dunn.
You most certainly are outside the range of Dunn, and it's Jared Verse over here. And again, now it's Tim McKay who's going to get it, and that
Holding
across his body.
Offense number 52, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And Mike, you're right. Now we have 3rd and 40, and I can guarantee you that Tim Beck does not have a play on his call sheet for 3rd and 40.
Stunningly so.
And really all you're trying to do is you're trying to give yourself a field goal opportunity, at the same time not turning the football over. And if I'm Tim Beck, I'm so concerned, I'm probably handing this ball off.
Chambers will follow DeMarcus Jones, and some yardage there. They get it to the 37-yard line. This would be 54 for Chris Dunn, one of the best kickers in program history. So when it looked like at the 13-yard line that Dave Dorn and this team could maybe grab the lead.
Yeah, and you just can't have that happen. Like, that's the perfect opportunity to set your backup quarterback up for success, and really it was the gadget play on 1st down that got him off track. Now it's forced them to take a very long field goal attempt.
From 53 yards for Dunn, and he is good. He matches a career long from 2 seasons ago and makes it a 1-point game. Well, we had a punt from beyond the line of scrimmage. We had 3rd down and 40. Come on back to Raleigh. Let's get weird.
Importance of it. I mean, you think about 2 field goals in this second half. With the way the defense is played, if you just continue that up, you got a chance to win the game with a field goal, and to bail your offense out if you're going backwards, if you're inheriting great field position. He should be excited about it.
Hey, be sure to stick around after the game for the ACC Huddle postgame show. Jordan Cornette and company, a full recap of all today's ACC football games. The ACC Huddle is next, immediately following this one. All right, so Florida State still has the lead. All 17 points they've scored came in the second quarter. They led by 14 at halftime, but since halftime, Mike Norvell's offense just 28 yards.
And I think you got to give credit to Tony Gibson. You know, reference some of the pressures that they were bringing in some earlier drives. They certainly have had a beat on what Florida State's trying to do offensively.
Jordan Travis was excellent in the first half, as he has been throughout this season, and there is no running room for Trey Benson, met by Drake Thomas and Isaiah Moore.
Really a little misdirection run. You know, running the football has been a struggle this half for Florida State because of, you know, the fast flow defense of the Wolfpack, and a little misdirection run on first down, thinking they maybe are going to get him, and it doesn't fool that linebacking crew.
Who combined, they have 27 tackles. They tout themselves as the best group of linebackers in the country. Travis rolls. Pressured by Fagan and just throws it into the ground in the direction of Johnny Wilson. And now it's third down.
Yeah, and it's third down and third and long. You get this, you know, these third and long plays, I think, play into the hands of NC State just so much with how they play their defense. Factor in some crowd noise. You just don't know what you're going to get. You know, Tony Gibson could play cover 0. He could rush 3. I would expect him to play coverage, but we've seen him be aggressive throughout the night.
Raleigh ready to erupt. On third down, Travis looks downfield, and Jordan Travis has it go incomplete, looking for Marquiston Douglas, his tight end, and now Florida State has to punt.
And it's an incredible play by that linebacking crew once again. Just rush 3. Jordan Travis escapes outside the pocket, and Douglas is there. He's going to make the play. Here you go. Here's Drake Thomas. He's going to end up reacting to the throw and making a play on the football as he is, you know, pursuing. Look at him turn, anticipate the ball coming out, and react to Douglas and go rake at the football. That is just phenomenal instincts by Drake Thomas.
And now a flag that appears to be on Florida State.
False start. Offense, number 46. 5-yard penalty. Fifth off down.
A tale of two halves here at Carter Finley Stadium. You mentioned the play by Thomas. Isaiah Moore told us this week, I don't think people understand how smart a football player he is.
Well, and on that play right there, it showed with how quickly he reacted to Jordan Travis trying to find his open tight end.
Mastromano gets it away. Fair catch at the 42. Fourth quarter in Raleigh. NC State has the momentum. 13 unanswered. Dancing here at Carter Finley.
Shoulder sling and was visibly upset, guys, but came back, returned to the sidelines, and he's been trying to help his backup, Jack Chambers, the Charleston Southern transfer, who's getting things done right now for the Wolfpack, trying to give them a little bit of drive and motivation. Devin Leary doing what he can to talk Jack Chambers through this. Everybody's coming up to him, asking him how he is. He just keeps saying that he's okay, and a lot of grit and resilience from him, even just to be back out here, especially all he's been through the past couple of years, guys.
Yeah, 2 years ago, it was the fractured fibula, and now Leary watches. Jordan Houston runs it for 4 yards on first down. Meanwhile, Jack Chambers steps in for Leary. The transfer from Charleston Southern, he's a walk-on here at NC State. He's 25 years old. He's not a kid. He's got a master's already, and now he's in this spot for the Wolfpack.
Well, and he needs to show mastery of this offense because he hasn't had a ton of work in it, and he's playing a good defense in a really tightly contested game.
Chambers keeps, and he cuts upfield for a first down. He hasn't completed a pass yet, but now 3 times with his legs, he has moved the sticks.
Yeah, and it's a good job, you know, with the runs. Kind of a zone read look. He keeps it as Payton squeezes down, and then a good finish to the run. Look, I think this is what the offense is going to have to look like. He is probably going to have to complete a pass or two, but ultimately running the football, some misdirection run game stuff with Chambers as the ball carrier, and then supplement that maybe with some screen game is probably how they're going to need to move the football.
Just got word from NC State, Devin Carter, veteran wide receiver. He is out for the rest of the game as well. Houston barrels forward, popped by Jamie Robinson.
And that's a good hard run by Houston. Good finish, but he was slow to get up, and now Delbert Mims checks in the game behind Chambers.
Houston dealt with a head injury earlier this season. Demi Sumo Karngbe banged up coming in and injured here in this one as well. So it's Mims, and he's got a first down. Whoever it is, Chambers, Mims, on the ground, moving the sticks for NC State.
And it's a great job of the guys up front. Look at the double team. I mean, it's a pancake block by Chandler Zavala, and then Anthony Belton does a good job of finishing his man. I would expect that left side of the offensive line for NC State, along with Grant Gibson working with them, to be where they want to run the football.
Remember, for Florida State defensively, they're without Fabian Lovett, as they have been, and without their nose, Robert Cooper, injured in this game. They stack up Mims here. What has to change for Florida State defensively?
Well, you're anticipating defending the run. So I think what they need to do is just find a way to have good fits, attack the run, and create situations that force NC State to throw the football. I mean, clearly, you can just tell how the game's been called so far. They don't want to put the ball in the air. Chambers has not looked comfortable passing. So you have to win on early downs, and that probably means getting more people involved and stopping the run.
See the play selection. Chambers has caught more passes than he has completed. Coming up on 8 to go in the fourth. Mims driving the legs and pushing the pile to set up third down and short for NC State, trying to take the lead for the first time since it was 3-0.
And with the game the way it is right now, in a field goal, you know, a score that would take the lead, I don't think you throw the football here. I think you try to run it. If you pick up the first down, great. If not, you kick the field goal and take the lead. I would be shocked if they put this ball in the air.
Third down struggles for NC State. Jack Chambers at quarterback, just 0 for 1 through the air since he came on for Devin Leary. Chambers spins and brought down. Heck of a play by Tatum Bethune, making the stop on Jack Chambers.
Yeah, Mike, and you asked what do they need to do. You know, I answered with, you know, how you're dealing with the passing game, but here's Bethune staying home. There's a fake run going to the right, and Bethune is like, look, you guys aren't throwing it, but you're willing to rush your quarterback. I'm going to stay home and make the play. That's good, smart football by Tatum Bethune. And while I'm sure that Mike Norvell is happy to keep him out of the end zone, I also believe that Dave Dorn is going to be satisfied with kicking a field goal to take the lead.
19-17 is the lead after the fourth made field goal from Chris Dunn here in Raleigh. And help people recover from this disaster. Mike Monaco, Tim Hasselbeck, Kelsey Riggs, our entire crew with you from Carter Finley Stadium. Jordan Travis and Florida State led 17-3 at halftime. They trailed by 2, 6:33 to go in enemy territory. Sidewinding kick goes out of bounds from Colin Smith.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team, Ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
Well, for Florida State in this second half, a lot of self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah, and first it starts with Gibbons, who's been a really good player for them. The Notre Dame transfer gets the personal foul. That sets them back. They're forced to punt. And then the bad protection, which led to a punt across the line of scrimmage, which was a loss of down. He could have run for the first down when you see all that green grass, and which led to 3 points. And obviously great field position. Even though they went backwards on the drive, Dunn was able to kick the field goal.
Couple of 4-1 teams, both coming off losses last week. Travis throws, and he's picked off. Shaheem battled the interception, and everything coming up NC State in the second half. There is a marker down at the 29-yard line. And now a second.
And I believe the flag comes down, after the interception. This is a terrible decision by Jordan Travis. First down, good field position. They try to move him to his left, and you see Mike Norvell talking to him about it. I mean, Jordan Travis clearly knows he can't put that ball in harm's way the way he did. Just felt some pressure and kind of threw it into a crowd.
Few times he has thrown it off his back foot in the second half, where all the decisions seem to be really crisp in the first half.
And we've seen him throughout this year make great decisions in the passing game, do a great job of taking care of the football. And sometimes what happens is, you have some success in the passing game and you start to be a little bit more careless with the ball.
On the play. After the interception and during the return, personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the defense, number 9. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the offense, number 4. Both fouls will be enforced. The 15-yard penalty for the unnecessary roughness, and then the dead ball personal foul. The defense keeps the ball, first down.
Savion Jackson and Micah Pittman.
So this is what I mean about the crowd. You see Pittman's kind of running an inside, fade stop, and, Battle just falls off the hitch outside, and then, the quarterback, has protection on some of these turnover plays, and Savion Jackson, decides to just finish him, just absolutely finish him, and then, afterwards, Pittman fighting on the sidelines, that's well out of bounds, and flag there. So a lot going on, but ultimately what happens is very good field position, a critical turnover, and now at this point with the way the offense has gone, I know there's 6.5 minutes left, but you would have to think that North Carolina State is going to try to run the football, take as much time off of the clock as they can, and just make sure you're in an opportunity to kick another field goal.
How do you settle the emotions in this atmosphere if you're Florida State? Because you saw, based on those reactions on that play and the Travis decision, sped up.
Mike, it's a great point, and really what you do, the coach can't do it for you. You need to hope that you have a mature enough team and mature enough leadership that settles it down.
The end of the run was the 40-yard line, so the first penalty will be marked from the 40-yard line, and then the 15-yard penalty for the dead ball personal foul will be marked from there.
Jeff Flanagan has been busy in this second half. He is getting some airtime.
I mean, and sometimes it's, you wish they'd keep the yellow in their pockets, but I think it's evident that especially on that play alone, certainly warranted.
9 straight running plays. Make it 10 for NC State. Jordan Houston is stopped by Akeem Dent and Dennis Briggs. And another Knoll slow to get up on the far side of the field.
For an injured player.
That's Derek McClendon, the redshirt junior defensive lineman. will step aside. 6:12 to go. Come on back to Raleigh after this. It got weird here before we even got started. The lights went out pregame. They would not power on. So we started 7 minutes, not a ton in the end, but 7 minutes behind schedule. ACC After Dark approaching midnight in Raleigh. It has been a wild second half.
It has been a wild second half. I mean, you know, NC State has just completely shut down Florida State offensively, and you know, the challenge the Wolfpack still have is playing with a backup quarterback. They just seem incapable of throwing the football.
Jack Chambers in for the injured Devin Leary, has not completed a pass. They keep it on the ground with Jordan Houston, who's been running tough in the second half. Brings up third down for NC State at the 35.
And again, I will tell you, I just, especially with the lead currently, how your defense has been playing, I'm not throwing this football if I'm Tim Beck and Dave Dorn. I'm keeping it on the ground.
And you got a kicker who's been automatic, and you're already within his range. A game with 16 combined penalties. Feels like that many injury stoppages as well. They do keep it on the ground. And Houston wrapped up. Another big stop from Tatum Bethune. Would be about 53 yards again for Chris Dunn.
You know, and the thing you do have to be concerned about, you know, and it's interesting that they made that same kick and that they're not trying to kick it now.
Up 2 instead of a chance to go up by 5. Offense remains on the field. Dave Dorn right next to the line judge, and maybe having second thoughts.
And I think Dave Dorn knew what he was doing here. I mean, this is in Dunn's range. The other thing is you also have the lead. Punting it and pinning them rather than risking, you know, a kick being blocked. We obviously know Florida State has already blocked a kick this season, got them the win.
Play a game. Offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. Still fourth down.
Yeah.
The clock will start on the snap.
I actually think this ends up being pretty smart football here by Dave Dorn.
The yardage for the delay of game has been declined. Fourth down. The clock will still start on the snap.
Listen, timeout or not, I think pinning them is fine. I think attempting a long field goal, which doesn't look like they're doing, maybe is not the right move. When you have the lead now, the risk of a long kick being blocked, the percentages for your kicker to hit 2 of his longest field goals in his career, probably unlikely. Pinning a defense or an offense that's struggling, probably the better move, and what Dave Dorn has chosen to do.
Again, Chris Dunn, the field goal kicker, 4 for 4. He had hit from 53, which that would have been no attempt. Florida State gets it back down by 2 with 4:25 to go, but they've got to solve this NC State defense led by the linebackers.
Yeah, and they've been great. The linebackers have played downhill. The defensive line's been disruptive. The windows have been small, and they've closed fast in the secondary. And Jordan Travis gotten frustrated and forced it last time out, and it's been total domination defensively by the Wolfpack in the second half.
Just 1 first down for Mike Norvell's offense since halftime, when the Knowles led by 14. Toa Philly, left side, nothing there. Drake Thomas met him.
Drake Thomas, we've seen it in the run game and the passing game. They've brought him on a ton of pressures tonight. He's been playing on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage for the majority of the night in the run game.
Tony Gibson told us in spring ball, he's as good as we've got regardless of position. First team all-conference last year. He has played like it tonight. Inside of 4 minutes to go in the fourth. On 2nd and 9, Travis has it complete to tow Philly enough for a first down.
And that's a big play just because it gets you, out from being backed up. Kind of quiets things down a little bit, and then also gets you, a completion, something back on track after the way you've struggled so far in the second half.
And maybe something Jordan Travis in particular himself needed there. From the 19, Travis keeps. He's been effective with his legs in this one. Tanner Engel to stop.
And I don't think that'll be the last time we see Travis keeping it, coming out the backside on his own read. They've only done it a couple times, and it's been with good success every time they've done it.
He's rushed for 108 yards. Just 3 for the Wolfpack. Travis moves left, flag down. Travis does get the yardage necessary, but looks like holding.
And it's going to be holding on Rob Scott, the left tackle. And Savian Jackson.
Holding, offense number 52. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Rob Scott initially does a good job, but Savian Jackson, he just tries to escape, and chase Jordan Travis as Travis escapes. Good job in pass pro, but now when the quarterback takes off to run, you got to end up letting go. It's hard sometimes on these offensive line. They don't know where the quarterback is, and when he takes off to run, often they find themselves in a position where they get off balance and they end up grabbing.
10 penalties. 75 penalty yards in the second half alone for the Seminoles. Travis downfield for Johnny Wilson, who makes the catch. Big time play from Johnny Wilson to move the sticks.
And Travis has been looking his way a few times, just didn't like the window previously, but you get one-on-one matchups with Wilson's size. I think anytime you get him singled up, Florida State wants to take a shot to him.
31 yards to the 6'7" Arizona State transfer. He is slot right for the Knowles. Travis gets rid of it. Incomplete toward Trey Benson. Travali Price was at the ankles of Jordan Travis.
I'll tell you what, Travis was looking to get the ball to Johnny Wilson, didn't like it, and as he's feeling the pressure, spits it out to the outside, and I gotta tell you, I had a feeling that's a defenseless receiver. Even though it's right around the line of scrimmage, a defenseless receiver, and that's contact into the head and neck area.
So under further review for possible targeting.
Thomas Considine is our replay official.
And it's different. A lot of times we talk about a defenseless receiver running down the middle of the field, but it's clearly a defenseless receiver. And then, is it forcible contact? As we see it in slow motion, Shaheem Battle, he lowers. I believe that is forcible contact. Here he's in real speed, and it seemed like Benson kind of felt like it. But yeah, look, that's forcible contact to the head and neck area of a defenseless receiver, which is why they're looking at it, and I think they're going to call that targeting. And let's remember, to start the game, Derek Pitts, one of the corners, was out the first half because of a targeting from last week against Clemson, and now Shaheem Battle, who's played a ton of snaps tonight, could find himself on the wrong side of this targeting call.
And you spin it back a few years, NC State has dealt with a lot of targeting issues. You think of the season a few years ago that Tanner Engel had.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes these plays are happening so fast. You're trying to make a play on the football, and you know, it just is. The game has changed. You know, a lot of times these are polarizing calls because, you know, I think in many respects because a player ends up, you know, being removed from the game. But with the way that that's officiated, to me, that's a defenseless receiver.
After further review, there was a personal foul targeting defense number 25. A 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Number 25 was disqualified.
Well, now you add the 15 yards to it, and this struggling offense, you know, has just caught a huge break from the targeting foul.
Remember, Trayshawn Ward, leading rusher, he's out. He's in a sling. So a lot of Trey Benson and Lawrence Toafili. Ton of penalties on both sides. Start thinking, too, about the field goal range for Ryan Fitzgerald, who had missed 5 times on field goal attempts coming into tonight, but hit from 47 to end the first half. Toafili on first down, picks up a couple of yards. 1:45 to go on a ticking clock in the fourth.
You know, Mike, with the kicking struggles, I have to tell you, I understand that, you know, you'll take the field goal and you maybe have to take it, but I'm not playing for the field goal attempt if I'm Mike Norvell. I mean, I understand the confidence boost going into half for Fitzgerald, but I'm going to be more aggressive than that, get it as close to the end zone as I possibly can, but I'm trying to score.
Toafili out of the backfield. Peyton Wilson dumps him right near the line to gain.
And I think Mike Norvell, you know, thought that was a first down and the clock would stop to reset the chains, but because it didn't, just lost some valuable time.
With all 3 timeouts, it's 3rd and inches for Toafili to convert. He goes inside the 25, 51 seconds, and the clock stops on the first down. And a timeout as well,
North Carolina State.
taken by NC State with all 3 remaining.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, probably a good decision here for Dave Dorn, just kind of reset things with his defense, calm everybody down after the penalty, and kind of explain to them their plan. Basically, look, if I'm NC State and I'm trying to protect this streak of winning 13 straight games at home, I would much rather it end with a Fitzgerald field goal attempt than somehow allowing Jordan Travis to throw a jump ball to Johnny Wilson.
"16 unanswered points for number 14 NC State in this second half. Wolfpack quarterback Devin Leary got knocked out of this game. Jordan Travis, meanwhile, trying to turn around his second half. The 5th-year senior quarterback who has been through it all in his career. Toafili on the ground, gets a yard, and that's it. And an NC State timeout with 44 seconds to go.
North Carolina State, second charge timeout. A timeout with 30 seconds.
And I think Dave Dorn is thinking, look, I'm protecting time here in the event that Florida State, you know, makes a field goal. Protecting time to get down the field, and so that's going to be a challenge with what we've seen out of their offense with the changes, you know, the change of quarterback. But listen, it's been a struggle for Florida State in the second half, but they've gotten a big play out of Johnny Wilson. They obviously benefit from the targeting play and, you know, a little underneath route to Toafili. But I will say, I am a little surprised that they've gotten to this point that They've been as conservative as they have been with the kicking struggles they've experienced this season.
Drive started at the Seminole 8-yard line. Travis throws. Left side, lofts it, and Boykin's there to pick it off. Wow!
That's a great play by Boykin. This is the play Florida State ran earlier for the touchdown to Pittman when he made the great catch on the back shoulder throw. And Boykin just does a great job of playing over the top. Remember the inside fade? Well, it's Boykin going out and playing over the top, and so not allowing for the throw down the field or the back shoulder fade. Basically runs the route better than Pittman, and that is a heck of a play. It's learning from a play earlier in the game in a critical moment, and the NC State defense comes up huge from the player Boykin, and Mike Norvell can't believe it. Look, I'm here saying, hey, be more aggressive, because I think you don't want to leave it to your field goal kicker, but the thing you can't do is throw an interception, and it's a great play by Devin Boykin.
His first career interception. The junior read it well and comes up with the takeaway.
Florida State, first charge, timeout. Timeout will be 30 seconds.
Second pick thrown by Jordan Travis.
Yeah, and you know, on that one, to me, to be honest with you, every interception kind of tells its own story, but you know, when he lets that football go, he's anticipating that Pittman's going to get outside, and it's just a good job of playing leverage by Devin Boykin. This ball comes out, he probably feels like, hey, I've thrown a touchdown pass, but Boykin just ends up playing leverage outside, ends up making a play. You know, and it's not over with, you know, a full, set of timeouts once NC State took possession.
Moments ago, it looked like he was muttering to himself, horrible. He said that twice on that shot on the sideline. 2 timeouts for Florida State. 3rd down and 2. And they can use their second, and they do so here with 29 seconds left.
Florida State, second charge.
Yeah, and truthfully, if he did say horrible, look, the first interception was horrible. It was a bad decision in a bad spot, and it gave, the NC State offense a little bit of life. The second pick is very different, and I think he's trusting his receiver. He's anticipating that he's going to be outside, and he just isn't. It's a great defensive play.
NC State side of things, Dave Doran said it to Kelsey, like everything had to change in the second half from how they played in the first half.
Well, and I will say this. I think grit is a word that gets thrown out a lot, and I think that this really is a gritty team, and to think that they've been able to fight back without Devin Leary and with how they played defensively in the first half, this is about as gritty of a performance as I think I've seen in the conference.
3rd down and 2. It's Houston for a first down. Grit personified here in Raleigh.
Timeout. Florida State, 3rd.
NC State lost the preseason player of the year this half, Devin Leary. He's in a sling. Jack Chambers, a 25-year-old walk-on who transferred from FCS Charleston Southern, comes in, and he has caught more passes than he has completed.
And it's incredible because they were able to do nothing through the air. Nothing. Once Jack Chambers came into the football game, and somehow between the defense and the way Dave Doran managed the football game, along with his coordinators, that they're able to come out of this with a win.
And after Florida State had stayed on the ground, they went to the air with Jordan Travis. Devin Boykin, the interception, seals it, and NC State gets to 5-1 with a 2-point win over Florida State here in Raleigh.
I really mean it, Mike. This is a great effort by this group to lose your starting quarterback, to respond in the second half the way they did. That's a gutty effort by a tough football team. And they should feel good about the way they responded. And for Florida State, I think Jordan Travis, who's had